howdy, hey, and welcome to another episode of Disney Assembled. I'm Troy,
And I'm Mimi.
and we are your happy little father-daughter podcast, here to create joy and share our love for all things Disney.
Disney Assembled is sponsored by our patrons over on Patreon. If you would like to join them, check out patreon.com/DisneyAssembled.
Yeah, we'd appreciate your consideration for that. Membership starts at only $2 a month. With that $2 or more, get access to all the exclusive or the content. Some of it's exclusive, some of it's just content we share with our patrons over on Patreon. Now, I've been posting something on Patreon pretty much every day since our return from Disneyland, the Disneyland park in Anaheim, California. So there's lots of stuff there on our YouTube channel. We'll talk about that, tell you all about that at the end of the episode. But if you are watching, if we're putting this on the YouTube, I don't know if we're going to put it on YouTube or not, but if you're watching
I
a
think we
video
will.
version of this, we are back sort of not together, sad times. We spent the whole summer, you were home. And
sadly back to the virtual recording.
Yeah. Back to the Riverside.
Back to Riverside. No, we do like Riverside. We definitely made mountains out of a molehill. I guess that's like not the right idea. We definitely made lemonade out of the lemons of having to record virtually. We really started to like the advantages of having Riverside, but I don't think any cool feature or AI generated video clip could replace actually recording in person with you, but that's okay. Can definitely fill the hole a little bit. So I'm back in Austin in this exact same room.
Yeah.
I just moved.
That's right. You're in the same dorm room you were in last year. Not just the same dorm, the same room that you were in last year.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same spot because of the potential of a Disney college program, but that is something that I'm keeping close to the chest or close to the vest, I guess, until that is settled in whichever direction I am called to go. So maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. Obviously, I want it to happen, but I don't want to dwell on it too much. But that is why I'm in my dorm again, and the setup's a little bit different. I'm on the other side of the room. We turned the bed. Just a lot of different stuff going on. I've been in Austin about 5 days now, so that's all that's really going on with me.
Well, you're back in school. I'm back at work in school, but getting back into our remote recording routine. This episode is being recorded on Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. It's a little bit after our normal schedule, but you had to move back, this weekend, right? You left on Saturday, and then Mrs. Disney Assembled came up with your stuff yesterday, I believe, right? And dropped the rest of your stuff off yesterday.
Yeah, and then I was staying with a friend from Saturday until Monday afternoon. So there was a lot going on in the last few days, but now we're here and we're recording, and we are excited to, I guess, really jump into the debrief of our Disneyland vacation.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about that.
Last week's episode,
Absolutely.
We did the list. Yep. In this week's episode, we're going to, I think, in a bit more detail about our experience. So,
yeah, last episode we made mention on at least a dozen opportunities, dozen instances where we said, we're going to talk about it later when we do a deep dive. We're going to talk more about that later when we do a deep dive. Well, we're going to start the deep dive today. We're not going to get through our entire trip, but we have a few things we want to talk about. Before we get into that, I know we have an answer to a trivia question and Disney Dad Joke of the Week. I do want to take a moment to thank Tom and Michelle from the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We are, as we're recording this episode, an episode we recorded with them about our Disneyland trip is currently available for you to listen to on podcast. So if you're looking for a Disney podcast to listen to, if you want to hear more of us and Tom and Michelle with the Hyperion Adventures podcast, we've been on their show a couple of times. They're fantastic. They're wonderful people. Please, please, please go check them out. And they're also on all the socials. They post something every day on Instagram. And I think every morning, they do a morning show on their YouTube channel. So check out Hyperion Adventures podcast with Tom and Michelle. We had a great time doing that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was me teeing up to say, I had a great time as well. Good.
It
So,
was a
yes,
lot
we
of
do that. We're
fun.
going to
That
talk
was
about
a really fun
it
episode.
was a lot of fun. Why don't you tell everyone kind of what we're going to talk about today? Because we did so much in our 4 days at Disneyland and DCA. But today we're going to pull sort of a segment of our trip out and do a little deeper dive into that. Do you want to share with everyone what that's going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have decided to break down our Disneyland trip report into sort of themes, I guess. Like, I think we're going to talk about food at one point, the resort at one point, attractions at one point. This week, we are going to be deep diving into all of the magical extras that we participated in. So, um, we did a lot of things that are add-ons or experiences that you had to go out and find, like that kind of stuff. Um, I don't want to spoil the list, I guess, but we're gonna
Sure.
deep dive into the sort of extra nook and cranny things that aren't just
Right.
attractions or
Some
parades or
magical
anything.
extras that we were able to do, right? Some magical extras that we were able to do on this trip. We want to share our experience with everybody. But of course, we had a trivia question we have to get to and a Disney dad joke before we get into that. So, Mimi, do you want to share the answer to last episode's trivia question?
Absolutely. So the question is, the music in Fantasia 2000 is primarily performed by an orchestral group named for which city? And it was um, multiple choice. And the options were Chicago, London, Los Angeles, or New York. And the answer is Chicago. The name of the orchestra is Chicago Symphony Orchestra. So if you knew the answer to that, you are smarter than me. But that's because I don't intake Fantasia content, I think,
Yeah,
partially. So
that's okay. That's,
cool. I
that's
didn't know that. That's really a cool piece of trivia, I think.
it is a cool piece of Disney trivia, and we were glad you were able to share it with us. And we have a new question at the end of this episode. So listen all the way to the end so you can hear this episode's Disney trivia question. But however, in addition to all that wonderfulness, we have to have this week's Disney dad joke of the week. So, Mimi, are you ready for this week's Disney dad joke of the week?
I am.
Okay. Ladies, gentlemen, Disney fans of all sorts, it is time for this week's Disney dad joke of the week. Mimi, recently at Walt Disney World, they've drained the rivers of America, and they've pulled the riverboat out. Imagineers were meeting recently. I read this online somewhere. They were meeting recently about bringing a version of the riverboat back. But instead of the one they had, they were going to chisel one out of granite and make a granite riverboat. However, they decided that that would just be too much of a hardship.
Yeah,
Get it?
that's
Because
silly.
it's stone and it's a boat, so it's a hard
Yes.
ship.
And it
Okay,
would take too long to put together. Yes.
that's not really part of the joke. Timing of it is, but that's this week's Disney dad joke. If you have a dad joke of the Disney
No, no,
variety,
no. It is because a hardship is something that is
right,
difficult, aka
right,
chiseling a
but
boat
that's not what
from
makes it
granite.
funny.
No, it
It's
does.
a
It's because
boat
it's a
made out of
double
stone.
entendre. It's a double entendre.
Why are we speaking
That
French?
I don't
Is
think
this
you
the
understand
Canadian
your own
Pavilion?
joke. I don't think you get. I hate the
Whether I
Canadian
understand
Pavilion. It smells like maple
maple syrup
and it's
and
too
poutine
strong and
and
it's too
poutine.
strong and it gives me a headache. Like I have to run past the Canadian Pavilion to get away from the smell of the maple syrup. It
Jeffers,
is
I
so
don't agree. I
sweet.
know Jeffers is probably listening to this episode, and I would say I don't agree with that. I think the Canada Pavilion smells like a fresh
Kettle
pine
corn?
forest,
No.
a pine forest smothered in poutine and maple syrup. All right. If you have a dad joke of the Disney variety you'd like us to consider using on the show, if we haven't used it already and it's family friendly, we'd love to consider it. Send it to us at disneyassembled@gmail.com. We feels like it's been a long time since we were on that trip. It really was only a couple of weeks ago, but so much has changed. I mean, you've gone back to school, I've gone back to work, your brother has started school, and I mean, a lot of changes, which makes time feel like it's been forever. It's only been a couple of weeks. But we did a couple of magical extras on our trip to Disneyland. that we wanted to share with our listeners today. So, Mimi, which sort of magical extra do you want to start with? And we can sort of tell people about it and give everyone our opinions of it. Maybe deep dive into some of the details of that
I think we
experience.
should
What would you like to
let's
start with?
start with the key. With the
Okay.
key to Disneyland. We
Okay.
purchased the key to Disneyland. We did the
And if you're watching the
experience.
video,
Papa's showing you the key.
I have the key to Disneyland in my hand right here. I don't know how to use it because you were the one who used it the entire trip,
Okay,
but
so
I do
there
have the key to
is
Disneyland. So why don't you just
I
describe what it is first?
yes, the key to Disneyland is this like giant novelty key. You turn it on, and around in each land in Disneyland, there is a little like lock. It's not really a lock; it's more like just a keyhole, I guess, themed to that land. You turn the key on, you put the key in, the key lights up, and the little stand lights up, and you earn a badge on the key related to that land. So, for example, you find the one in Tomorrowland, you put the key in, it plays the People Mover soundtrack, blows some bubbles, the key turns blue, it lights up blue, and then a little icon of Space Mountain pops up on the side. You collect all of the icons, you return to the front of the park right outside the like marquee, you put the key in after you've completed all the lands, and it pops open, and you receive a one of I think 7 options for a like
A special
exclusive
key. I mean, a pin.
pin, a special pin,
Right.
and
For the 70th anniversary.
for
To
the 70th
Disneyland
anniversary.
70th. Yeah.
Right.
I was trying to find the pin that we got. I don't know if it was in the same bags as the other stuff that made its way up here, but
I don't know, we'll find it
I don't
later.
see to find it. Yeah. We'll post a picture of it later
Okay.
on our socials. But
But we
yeah,
did
so
get
the
the
key, and it was lots
Tomorrowland
of
key.
fun. We did have lots of fun.
Yes.
It was a little pricey, $60, but it was fun to do, and you got a neat pen. So you can figure for $60 you get this souvenir, which is the actual key itself, and the pen that was inside it. And the pen that was inside it was probably 20 or $30 if you were going to buy one, right?
Yeah. I think we should do worth it, not worth it, skip it,
Right.
like skip
Do you want me
it,
to turn it
budget
on
for it.
and play some of the sounds?
I don't know how well that would go. You are welcome to try.
I just turned it on. It lit up. It's
So on the line on the D, so like you know how the
mm-hmm,
D is in the line and the curve on the edge,
mm-hmm,
on the blue part, not the light up part.
right here.
No, Papa, on the D,
No, on the D. I'm on the D. Oh,
on
I see.
the
There's like
right there.
buttons.
So the
Right.
button with the music notes makes the music.
Oh, okay. And the other one just makes the lights. All right. So let's
Yes.
try a music. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. So I pressed it. And
Press
it was
the
Walt Disney's. Press the what?
press the light one,
Mm-hmm.
and it switches
Oh, it
colors.
changed colors.
Now play the sound again.
This is the red color.
So that's Main Street.
Oh, it's Main Street.
So we
And should
don't.
I
I don't
press it
think we need to.
again?
Maybe one more time, but I don't think we need to cycle through all of them.
Which one do you want to
Okay.
do? Was there one in particular you liked?
No, I'm good. Maybe let's make a video of all of them and post it on socials. But play
All
the
right, we'll
audio
do
one more
We'll do
time.
the green one. We'll do the green one. I think this was Adventureland.
I think so too.
So there you go.
So that's the key.
I'm going to turn it off now. Preserve
okay.
batteries.
You go to each land. I'm sorry, my computer's hasn't been charging this whole time. Papa, you take over while I figure out how to plug in my computer.
Yeah, just plug that computer in. So, yes, you go to each land, and each land somewhere hidden, not really hidden, but in the land itself, there is, like Mimi said, there's a display with a keyhole. You put the key, you turn it on. First of all, you put the key in the keyhole, you turn it, and bubbles or something comes up, lights, and yeah, then it makes the sound, it makes the noise, and it gives you credit for it. And there are a number, I don't remember exactly how many, I'd have to turn it back on to see how many there were, but there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 9 different stations that you have to find. And like Mimi said, when you finish, hopefully the last one you do is the one by the entrance when you come in. It's on either side of the entrance, either the right or the left. We went to the one on the left. But yeah, once you do them all, yeah, the little secret compartment opens up and you get a nice little pen. So was it worth it? Here's what I think. It's the 70th anniversary of Disneyland. This is a really neat little activity to do. I think it was worth the $60. I think given the key and the pin, you get your $60 worth. And then you have the fun of walking around and playing the music. And at nighttime when that thing lit up, it was nice to look at. It was kind of a fun little souvenir to have. So
Mhm.
do I think it was worth it? Yeah, I think it was worth it. I'm glad we did that.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. It was plugged in, but it Macs do that thing where it doesn't always charge. Sometimes it's like source is coming from the power bank or whatever. And then my computer started acting really slow. And I was like, please don't die. Sorry to see that.
Mm.
Anyway, the key to Disneyland, it was extremely pricey for what it is. I think it is way overpriced for the
But we don't buy a
experience.
lot of souvenirs. So,
We don't buy a lot of souvenirs.
60
I
bucks.
think if you are going to Disneyland or Disney World with the intention of not buying souvenirs, and then you're like we're here, you might as well get one. Like, I think it's fun. What I like about it as a souvenir is that it serves a purpose on the vacation rather than serving a purpose after the vacation. But I think it's a really cool idea. Um, and I had a lot of fun doing it. I really do like how it plays the sounds and lights up, like, to the area, like, I think that's, like, a really great addition to it so that it doesn't just, like, if all you did was, like, plug it in and it lit up one time, like, I wouldn't have thought it was worth it, but we really enjoyed completing that. The only thing is that we thought we were done, and there was apparently one in Toontown, so we had to walk all the way to Toontown, but that's more of a failure on our part. Just know that there is one in every land, every single one. Um,
Yep. Every land.
but yeah, we really enjoyed
Cool.
doing that, so I think it was worth it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
the
I think
next,
it was too. Yep. What's next?
yeah. So the next magical extra that we did that really comes to mind is the Star Wars Rising Moons dinner package
Yeah,
thing.
so you get this little lanyard, right? The little and it's the Docking Bay 7 food and cargo nighttime gathering. So we had reserved fireworks viewing. That's where you get the little lanyard, which we had,
And then you
and it's
also
nice. It's gives you access to if you've been to Galaxy's Edge. There's that upper area that overlooks where the Millennium Falcon courtyard is, and they take pictures there all the time. It gives you access to that area for the Fire of the Rising Moons show, which is the nighttime sort of gathering show at Galaxy's Edge. So it's a really good location. It's a projection show on the mountain in the background above the Millennium Falcon. There's people down below, but they have to stand and they have to look over everyone from the upper level where we were. It was a perfect view. And yeah, so we got to see Fire of the Rising Moons. So everyone in your party gets a lanyard. You get a free picture right there at the Millennium Falcon, the opposed picture. There's a meal that we'll talk about in a minute from Docking Bay 7. And we get these really cool pens. See if I can put it up here for everyone to see on the video. And again, it's a special pen, Docking Bay 7 Fire of the Rising Moon's Nighttime Gathering. It's a really cool pen. So the show was great. The view was great. The pen is cool. Amy,
I
it
have
was 90
you've
bucks
just
a
been
person, 80, 90 bucks a
you've
person.
you've been talking. I would like to start
It's,
with the things I did not enjoy about this experience because I want to end on the pot. This you said the key was overpriced. This experience is extremely overpriced. We have always had the philosophy as a family that we try to splurge for one, maybe two higher end, more expensive sit down meals, depending on the length of our trip. Our first trip, it was Belle's Castle. The second trip, we did Ohana and Cinderella's Castle. Then we did the Tep and Ito place and Space 220. You know, there is a tiering of these like sit down meals, and at $90 a person, that to me is at that tier of expensive meal, right? And so we thought, oh, like, and we'll watch the show and like, cool, right? The process of checking in alone was really confusing because they don't block it off. They don't block off Docking Bay 7. So there are still people walking around, and they don't, maybe it was just like cast member that we had, but it's not explained particularly well. Like the way it works is like you walk in and you order your drinks with some cashier person, and if you're ordering alcohol, you have to pay for it. And then you stand around and wait for your name to be called to pick up your bento boxes. But I wish almost that they were able to set up some kind of like fountain for drinks, or like have a bar separate or something, because I know that that's not how Docking Bay 7 is set up, but it was really inefficient and confusing for us to be handed a menu, ushered inside, and told to make decisions in like 30 seconds we had this cashier. And for that price point, really wanted a more personal um, experience in that way. So there's that. And then we get the bento boxes, and I do have a prior. I know what a bento box is. Like I kind of knew what I was expecting, and I was like, a $90 bento box, like it can't be that special. And I can confidently say there was not a single thing in the bento box that I was interested in eating. And I am kind of a picky eater, and I can admit that. But all four of us were kind of like, eh. Like, I bit into this, it was like a cheese ball, like fried cheeseburger ball or whatever, and it was just, like, not, like, I think it was, like, presentation, but I was just, like, really grossed out by it, really grossed out by, like, most of the food that was in the bento box, and it also there wasn't anything there that, like, that had, like, protein. It's, like, hummus and pita, some strawberries, a dessert, and these cheeseburger balls, and I was like, "This is just bread, like, this is bread, we paid for bread." And I was quite hungry that night. So I didn't enjoy the meal.
Right.
Papa's frozen.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
not
there you are.
frozen.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just
Um,
listening. I didn't want to interrupt
I
you.
I did not enjoy the dining portion, and the fact that the dining felt so lackluster. Like I didn't have a single expectation. Like we booked it like an hour before, okay, but it was just so under the level of service I have received at a Disney park for that price point ever. Like it
I
was
mean, they
the
weren't
lowest.
rude.
They weren't rude. No, no, no. This is not about the cast members. I mean, like, in terms of like food and options and like that kinds of at that price point, that is the lowest I think I've ever felt
Right. Let me
about
let me
Disney
jump
food.
in here for a second because I want to talk about the food too.
Okay.
You're right. When we inquired about what this was, because we were reading about it on the app, we're like, well, do we want to do this or not? Because we wanted to see the show. The key for us
We
is we
did know it was a
wanted to
bento
see,
box.
we knew that, but I wanted to see, our goal was we want to see the Fire of the Rising Moons projection show. And then not long after that, there's a fireworks show that goes with some projections. So actually you get two shows. You get to see both shows from that spot. Food wise, I'm going to agree with you. I ate what was in there, but I didn't really enjoy it. I would not choose to eat that again. It wasn't particularly tasty. I found it to be lacking. I mean, there was a cheese part. There was like a couple of things of cheese, and there was a couple of little cracker things, and then whatever. So I agree with you. You didn't buy that for the food. You bought it for the view, and you bought it really for the view, because I'm not really going to pay for that picture either. I mean, we got the picture. If you've never taken a picture at the Millennium Falcon, it's the same picture you take overlooking the Millennium Falcon, right? Everybody's like doing the Force thing, and it's the same exact pictures. I mean, you are paying for this pen. I would say on the retail market, if they sold a pen like this in the shops, it would be like a $20 or $30 pen. The meal was probably worth $5, right? If that, maybe seven if they sold it. They would charge you more, but it was probably worth about $5. So I
Right.
think what you were paying for was the really good view of the show,
Right.
not the perks that go along with it, like the food and the pen. You were
In the
paying for the
picture. Right.
show, and I wouldn't do it again. Let's put it this way: I would not pay to do this again. However, food aside, the two shows were very good. And if you're in Disneyland in Galaxy's Edge at night and you're thinking about going out because you don't want to see the show, if you have any interest in Star Wars at all, you need to stay for these two shows. They're very good.
Yeah, so that leads me into like what I really, really, really enjoyed about this experience. You hit the nail on the head. You're 100% paying for the view. And because the experience, like, we didn't even know it had existed until we were sitting there, um, is not advertised. There were very few people gathered on that little balcony. Like, it was not a big thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were not hundreds of people behind us. Like, there were maybe 12 or 15 parties, if that. And the view from up there really changed the experience, I think, because you didn't have to worry about the falcon being in your way. Like, you were above the falcon, so you were able to see everything super clearly. You were in line with where the obvious like eyesight line was when Imagineers were designing it, right? Like, you get to see the whole thing front to back, no interruptions, nobody in your way, no Millennium Falcon in the way, no one holding a lightsaber up in your face. And those shows are extremely underrated. I have not heard anyone talk about them. Those shows are really, 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 really good. The Rise of Skywalker one is just a projection show on the rocks. It doesn't have any fireworks or anything. It's so cool. Like, the
And
things
it's
that they
just a
do with
telling of the
those,
Star Wars, the
the
Skywalker saga.
saga, exactly. And the
It's
things that
very
they
good.
do with those projections is just so impressive. The fireworks show is hit me less because I'm not as attached to Star Wars, I think. But the Star Wars music has like a whole like cult following in of itself. And if that's something that's important to you, prioritize this show, right? But they've definitely manipulated a system so that to prioritize it and to get the best spot in the house, you want to be up on that balcony because even if you're on the ground, you want to be as far back as possible so that you don't have to worry about having to look over the falcon to see everything, right? But the farther back you are, the more likely it is that there are people in front of you. So they've totally created a system for that. I would not do it again, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because the food part is so lackluster. Like, even if it had just been like sort of an average meal that was like, whatever, I think I would feel better about it. And I want to say, like, we did know it was a bento box going into it. Like, we knew what we were getting into with the bento box thing. But the fact that there was not anything in the box that was appealing, like, real.
Well, they describe the food that you're getting, but what you actually get is less appetizing than the way it's described
Mhm,
because
exactly.
it tells you what comes in the box. So it's not
Right,
like you
and
don't
we
know
knew
what's
all of
coming.
that, and we knew all of that. Like, we it's not like
The
we
show was great. Mimi's right. The fireworks show, the Star Wars music is perfect. There's projections even for that, right? It's just not
Mhm.
a telling of a
It's mostly
story, right?
projection. The whole thing is mostly projection. I recommend catching those shows. I don't think I recommend the Docking Bay 7 experience, though.
I would agree, but I think if I was back there, I would want to see the show, but I wouldn't pay
Right.
for that. Yeah. No.
Not at $90 a
No,
person,
yeah, it wasn't worth it. If it was like $50 a person, maybe.
maybe.
But even then,
Yeah.
I don't think I would pay to do that again. I mean, that's kind of a premium thing. Once you've seen it once, you've seen it,
Right,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Moving on to the last magical extra that I can think of is the heavy hitter, the one everyone's waiting to hear about. The tour, this Disneyland celebration of happiness, something something tour, story of
Disneyland
celebration.
70th, a story of celebration. We did the guided tour. This was the first Disney guided tour we've been able to do because brother Disney Assembled is now old enough to go on these guided tours. It was a 2-hour experience. As I just showed the lanyard we wore throughout the experience. Also, every member of your party gets a personalized pen with your name on it with a story of celebrate. Can you see that? Is it coming in? I'm
Mhm.
looking at it sort of through the mirror. So
Yeah,
mine
it
says
looks good.
Yort and not Troy. It says Yort as I'm looking at it through the picture. And at the very end of the tour, you get a really nice Disneyland 70th pin. I don't know if anybody can see the pen there, but it's got
Yeah, I can see it. And then you get
Disneyland.
a lightning lane to Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway.
That is true. I forgot about that. You do get on your app, automatically loaded into your app, a free Lightning Lane pass for Mickey and Minnie's
You actually get a lot of things with this
Runaway
tour.
Railway. Now,
You
this
get a
tour
lot of
was
things with this
not.
tour
This was not.
because
It
you.
was. It was more expensive than the Star Wars thing. It was about what, about $150 a person,
I think it was $130 a person for the
130,
tour,
something like that.
but you get the pin, the name tag, the lanyard, the lightning lane, and you get the popcorn and the seating for paint the night. But I think we should
We
talk
had
about the
roped
tour in
off.
chronological order.
Yeah, perfect seating for paint night with special popcorn made just for you, a special flavor just for the people who did the tour. So,
Yes,
Mimi, share with our audience the wonder of the Story of
this tour.
Celebration tour.
Oh, I loved this tour. I really did. I really enjoyed it. The caveat, I will start with the negative, but the negative is really personal to me. If you know a lot about Disneyland history, like us, or if you know a lot about the Walt Disney Company, you are probably not going to learn anything new on the tour. I'll say that right now. It's not groundbreaking secrets, it's not things you can't Google, but hearing it told from just like a tour and being treated with the like feeling the special feeling that you get when the tour guide is telling it to you. It doesn't even matter that she was talking about something I already knew. Like I was just listening to her because she was talking to me, right? You walk all the way around the park. Well, that's not true. You walk through a lot of the park. You spend a good amount of the tour on Main Street. And then you actually take the train to Bayou Country, where you then get on the riverboat. You do the ride on the riverboat. Um, and then you end in Toontown where they give you the pins, with facts and stops and typical tour stuff along the way. It I think maxes out at like 8 parties. Like I think there were probably about 20 to 25 people with us on the tour. It wasn't a huge group, but it also wasn't super tiny. But the our tour guide did know everyone's names. She was keeping track of everyone. I will say that it was sort of frustrating to my mom that we spent probably a solid like 35 minutes of the tour because it's a 2 hour tour. You pay for the 2 hours. Like that's what you're paying for, right? 2 hours of it riding attractions and not like riding the train, riding the riverboat, or taking breaks because she felt like, I want all my fun facts and stuff. But thought that it was worth it because those are not things that we probably would have gone on had we not been on the tour. And I'm glad we did them. I'm glad we did them. And she still did have
Yep.
fun facts for us on both attractions. Yeah, I really recommend the tour. It was cool.
So, a couple of things that people may be asking about on this tour. Did you go to the front of the line on any rides? No. Other than the railroad and the steamboat, there were no attractions that you rode on this tour. So, it's not like a VIP tour where you go on different attractions and you go to the front of the line. That was not what this was. I believe we went to every land in some way, shape, or form. We visited every land in the park. No, we did not go into Walt's apartment above the firehouse. We didn't. That was not part of this tour. So it wasn't a VIP tour as much as it was a story of Disneyland tour. And like I said, if you have some better than average knowledge of Disneyland history, there may be things that are not new to you in this tour. But the key to these tours, I'm going to tell you this: so you get a headset, right, and you get a microphone, a headset, right, and she talks through a
Hmm.
microphone into it. Stay near the tour guide because she has her script that she goes through. But as she's moving around and sees things, she just points things out. So if you're kind of near the tour guide, she doesn't have her mic on the whole time. You get to learn other little things, right, from her just walking around and just talking to you. Because one thing about the tour guides, they just they want to talk to you. They want to just be friendly, right? So it's not just reading a script and walking from one thing to the other. We did run into a cavalcade at one point, so we got to watch the celebrate happy or celebrate happiness cavalcade that came through.
Yes, we did get to
Um,
do that.
and we just happened to time it so that we had a really good spot to see that. I think I have a video that I put up on our YouTube channels if
I
you want to
think so.
watch the Celebrate Happy Cavalcade. I think I did it in two parts because music copyright thing or whatever, but you can watch that parade. I was glad we did it. I mean, look, the pen is really cool. The name tag is pretty cool. The story is really neat. And it ended, we went, I think our tour started at 2 o'clock. So it was over around 4. And then Paint the Night comes after dark. And if you wear your, your lanyard that I'm holding up for the video, you go back to the space near the where the flagpoles are at the front when you
Hmm.
enter the park right there at the beginning of Main Street. They have a section roped off for Paint the Night. You get a box of you don't get anything to drink. That was a little disappointing. They give you this big box of specially flavored popcorn, but nothing to drink. So if you want to drink, you have to go buy a drink, right? That was kind of annoying. And we had a really good spot to see Paint the Night, which I've also posted some pictures of on our socials on TikTok and YouTube, some of our clips from our Paint the Night experience. So by and large, you get primo seats, a nice tour. It was very hot when we were there. So the breaks were really important. They didn't give us water on the breaks. Like if you didn't have a drink with you, you either had to buy a drink or whatever. And I would think that on a tour like that, during the heat of the day, that they would bring water or be able to go get water for everyone, but they didn't do
Hmm.
that either. That was, I won't say that's disappointing, but I'd say if they were looking for ways to plus the experience, they would have beverages for the people on the tour because that's a lot of walking for 2 hours. And there were 20 people. I think it maxed out at 20. So we had 20 people in our group.
Hmm.
But was it worth it? I think it was worth it. I mean,
I
would I
think
pay to
so.
do it again? No, because it's like you did it. You don't need to do it again. But I thought it was very much worth it. And I know you want to talk about Paint the Night, which is part of the experience, but I enjoyed it very much. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, I do want to talk about Paint the Night briefly. I think obviously you can watch Paint the Night from anywhere on the parade route, but I do know, and something that I noticed at Disneyland in particular, is that people line up for those spots like hours in advance. Like it's really a thing at Disneyland to line up super early for any kind of show. Um,
So space is a
which
premium. There's just not that much
space is a
room.
premium,
Yeah.
exactly. Which I think if we had not had the special seating, we probably wouldn't have prioritized Paint the Night and we would have had a super average spot and it would not have been the same experience at all. Because I think if you're like us and you do have better than average Disney knowledge, I do think it's still worth it if for literally no other reason than for that viewing spot for Paint the Night. Paint the Night is really, really, really cool. And having the ability to see it completely not worried about anyone else, being able to sit while you watch it if that's what you're into, ideal. 100% ideal. And that spot in particular is really fun because that's where Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and Donald and Daisy meet people. And they were walking around. Like the seating area opens up at 8 o'clock. They recommend getting there early. I also recommend getting there early because, again, Disneyland people are like scavenging for space. So I also recommend getting there early. It opens at 8. The parade starts at like 8:45 or whatever. But it doesn't get down to Main Street until like 9:15 at the earliest, right? Because it's slow moving. It's got to go through the whole park, whatever. Watching like Mickey and Minnie and like all these characters like come out and like interact with kids and like people lined up for the parade and like cast members doing fun stuff, like that was really cool and it made the wait worth it. When I was doubting that spot briefly, but I really did enjoy Paint the Night, and I thought that the tour gave you a primo viewing experience for it.
Yep. Paint the Night was one of our favorite nighttime shows. We'll talk more about the other nighttime shows on a different episode. But yeah, I mean, I think the tour was worth it. I enjoyed the Paint the Night. I would get there, like I said, when the gates open to find your spot, I would do it. Because even in our roped off area, there was like a front row and then you had a standing room only because it was enough space for everyone, but not everyone was like on the street. There was a gathering, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, it was everybody who participated in that tour during the day. So it wasn't just the 20 of us on our group. There were other groups that toured during the day and they all had the same roped off area to
Right.
watch Paint the Night that evening. So good stuff. 3 magical extras from our Disneyland trip that we recently returned from. We did the key to Disneyland, right? We did the key to Disneyland. We did the Fire of the Rising Moons nighttime show from the Gathering at Docking Bay 7. 2 shows, and the story of Celebration 8th anniversary guided tour. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Great stuff.
Yep.
I liked all the things we
Mimi,
did for the most part.
I did too. I don't regret doing any of it. I probably wouldn't pay to do any of it again, but it's not because I didn't
True.
enjoy it. It's just because it's one of those things when you do it once, you don't really need to pay to do it again, right? You've had the experience. But
Right.
talking about experiences, people need to experience the joy of answering the trivia question. So
Yes, I
why
have it
don't
pulled up right
you
here.
share with everyone this week's trivia question, this episode's trivia question, and then let them know how they can get in touch with us to tell us what they think about the show.
Yes, so this week's Disney trivia question is: how many real cats were used to play Thackeray Binks in the film Hocus Pocus? And the answer choices are 1, 3, 6, or 9. So if you know how many cats they used in Hocus Pocus to make the magic come to life, please feel free to send us an email, disneyassembled@gmail.com, or you can send us any of your thoughts, comments, questions, opinions, or concerns on all social medias, all at Disney Assembled. But if you guys want to support the show further, the link to our T Public and our Patreon and our Buy Us a Dole Whip and all that other awesome stuff is on the website, disneyassembled.com. Make sure to check it out.
Yeah, please do. And, we have a YouTube channel. We got stuff on there, lots of shorts, posting a lot of shorts on the YouTube channel. And this episode, hopefully, we'll get this episode out on the YouTube channel so people can see the excitement on our faces as we talk about these magical extras that we got to experience. So, yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. We picked up a couple of subscribers recently because I've been posting. It's amazing. You post things, you
And then
actually
people
make
follow you.
content, and then people follow you. It's like the TikTok.
Oh, we should talk about that TikTok you made.
Real quick, we'll do the TikTok. So I did a 5-second video of the Mark Twain riverboat at Disneyland going by, and the pilot had a little plush Steamboat Willie that he was playing out the window. It's a 5-second video. And I posted like the video with some Steamboat Willie music on it. It's a 5-second video of like, it's the silliest thing. Views now on the
That's
TikToks. I know
crazy.
for some people that doesn't seem like a lot, but to us, it's huge. It's like, what? I mean, what is it about this video? But people seem to enjoy it. I watch it over and over again. You know why? Makes me happy. You know what else makes me happy? When people like and review the show, when you get the 5-star rating and you get the reviews, I really like that. And I like creating joy. And I know our listeners out there want to help us create more joy in the world. In order for you to do that, one of the best things you can do is tell your friends, share the show with your colleagues and your peers, and encourage them to give us a shot. All right, Mimi,
Yes.
we did it. Back
Virtual high
remotely
five.
after a summer together. Virtual high five. There we go. We hope this episode brought a smile to your face, some extra joy to your day, and that very special sprinkle of pixie dust to your week. Thank you once again for listening, and until next time, see you real
See you
soon.
real soon.